Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we'll be going over another one of my random 60 card decks. This deck happens to end up just being a random one that I sat there and was playing around with, and essentially we got golems. And without further ado, I'm just gonna get right into it. Starting off, we have 4 copies of Steel Overseer, which is a 1/1. You can tap them to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. So yeah, so we'll start off there. Next up, we have Lodestone Golem. It's a 5/3 non-artifact creature that non-artifact spells cost 1 more to cast. 4 copies of that in here. So everything's just getting stuck together while I'm trying to do this. Well, not stuck together, but overlapping each other on the table. Next up is Phyrexian Triniform. It's a 9/9. When Phyrexian Triniform dies, create 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature tokens. As Encore 12. 3 copies of Phyrexian Triniform. Then we have 3 copies of Bronze Guardian. Star 5, Double Strike, Ward 2. Other artifacts you control have Ward 2. And Bronze Guardian's power equal to the number of artifacts you control. Next up, we have Adaptive Automaton. He's a 2/2. When Adaptive Automaton enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Adaptive Automaton is the chosen type in addition to the other types, and other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. After that, we have 3 copies of, let's hope I can actually pronunciate this, Elebu Ancient Witness. So 4/5, other artifacts you control have haste. Other artifact creatures, my bad, you control have haste. Whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control attack, Elebu Ancient Witness deals X damage to any target. You scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control. After that, we have 2 Maul Splicers. So 1/1, when Maul Splicer enters the battlefield, put 2 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature tokens onto the battlefield. And Golem creatures you control have Trample. After that, we have Dark Steel Splicer. So 1/1, when Dark Steel Splicer or another non-token Phyrexian enters the battlefield under your control, create X 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of opponents you have. And Golems you control have Indestructible. So 2 of them there. Then we get over here to Bernard, Ginger Sculptor. He's a 3/3. Each creature you control that's a food or a golem gets +2/+2 and has Trample. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1 food golem artifact creature in addition to its other types, and it has pay 2, tap, sacrifice this artifact. You gain 3 life. Running 2 copies of that in here. Next up, we have Iktekik Salvage Splicer. So 1/1, when Iktekik Scavenge Splicer enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless Golem creature token. And whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on him, and +1 counter on each golem you control. Just one copy of that in here. Then we have Master Splicer. So 1/1, when it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. And golems you control get +1/+1. Then lastly, for our creatures, we have Sensor Splicer. So 1/1, when it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian golem artifact creature token. And golem creatures you control have vigilance. After that, we move down to our other spells here. And we're running 4 copies of Golem's Heart. Whenever a player casts an artifact spell, you may gain 1 life. After that, we have Ichor Elixir. If you'd roll 1 or more planar dice, instead roll that many dice +1 and ignore 1. Then you can tap it for 2 colorless. Running 4 copies of that in here. Then we have 2 copies of Titan Forge. Titan Forge, you pay 3 colorless and tap it, put a charge counter on Titan Forge. Or tap, remove 3 charge counters from Titan Forge, put a 9/9 colorless golem artifact creature token onto the battlefield. And then lastly over here, we have Masterful Replication. Choose 1, create 2 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens, or choose target artifact you control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of that artifact until end turn. As a result, I was putting those around top of that. Next up, to our lands, we have 2 mountains, 4 plains, 2 forests, 2 islands. Then we have 4 copies of Dreadsink Statuary, which is tap, add 1 colorless mana, or pay 4 colorless, and Dread Statuary becomes a 4/2 golem artifact creature token until end turn. It's still a land. After that, we have 2 copies of Rift's Grove. When Rift's Grove enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless you return a non-layer land you control to the owner's hand. After that, we have 2 copies of Travaz's Ruins. Travaz's Ruins enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless you return a non-layer land you control to the owner's hand. Oh, oops, I forgot to read that off. Then I forgot to read Rifts, but you can tap it for red, green, or white. And Travaz's, you could tap for a green, white, or blue. Last 2 lands here, we have a Canopy Vista, which if we tap for a green or a white, Canopy Vista enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. And finishing off with the Glimmer Void. To begin your end step, if you control no artifacts, sacrifice Glimmer Void. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. And with that, we're bringing this deck to a close. I hope y'all enjoyed a quick little look into my Golem deck here. Hope you enjoyed, and it'd be nice to see you in the next video. Peace.